This is A Note to Future Me. Hi, this is Brett Johnson, your host and the owner of Circle 270 Media Podcast Consultants. Before you launch your podcast, so much of your time and energy will be spent getting the sound and feel just right, choosing the right format, researching the best publishing frequency and the day of the week. You're doing all the podcast things you're supposed to do in order to make a really great podcast. And soon the time will come to press publish, and you need a plan to promote the podcast. Well, here are 5 simple ways to ask your listeners to support your podcast. Number 1, ask them to sign up for your newsletter. That being said, your newsletter needs to be subscriber worthy. What are you doing with your newsletter beyond promoting your current episode? How are you engaging the reader? Is signing up worth their time? How easy do you make it to sign up? If you already have a newsletter with subscribers, congratulations. You now can implement one of the most effective marketing tools a podcaster can have. Building an email list from scratch? Here are some ideas to consider. Choose a trustworthy and easy-to-use email marketing platform. We recommend MailerLite or Review. I will have links to those in the podcast show notes. Give people incentives to sign up. It could be additional content that was never published for the podcast that only subscribers get through your newsletter. Create pop-ups for your website. If you are website savvy, it's a nice way, an easy way to encourage listeners to sign up for the newsletter. And leverage your social media accounts. Make sure when you're using those media accounts that you're giving them the right incentive to sign up for the newsletter versus just, hey, I have a newsletter, sign up for it. Why should they sign up for it? Additionally, emphasize how easy it is to sign up for your newsletter. Keep stating your call to action over time. Don't let up on that call to action to sign up for that newsletter. And put that link everywhere. It will build over time. You'll see some fans subscribe immediately, but you'll continue seeing substantial growth even 3 to 6 to 9 months after you launch. The key is consistency, including your call to action and experimenting with what gets listeners excited to sign up. Number 2, ask them to write reviews or comments about your podcast. Now, this could take the form of, as we all know, leaving a review of your podcast on iTunes. That can be a bit tedious and a little bit of a heavy lift for some listeners, but it is a good way to get feedback. Leaving comments on your podcast Facebook page. Encouraging comments on your podcast website blog post that features your podcast episodes. Set up a Google My Business page for your podcast. That way they can leave reviews and Google sees those reviews. Or ask for feedback on a Google Voice phone number, which is free, and you can use that feedback in future episodes. Number 3, ask your listeners to share your podcast on social media by specifically tagging their friends. Not only does this share the podcast, tagging friends can encourage the listener to comment to the tagged friend why they should listen to the episode. It's feedback for you, and social media loves shares. Number 4, ask listeners how the podcast or a specific episode has helped them. There are basically 6 things you need to do in a podcast. You need to make your listener laugh, cry, think, groan, educate them, or entertain them, or a combination of any of these. If you're not doing one of those 7 things, you're boring, and there won't be any incentive for your listener to want to talk about your podcast. And number 5, ask them to follow you on social media. The same rules apply about the whys of following you as I just addressed with newsletters. Make your posts engaging, interesting, inviting, and share-worthy. It can't be just about your latest episode publishing. If you're looking for more tailored help, then be sure to connect with our dedicated team of podcast professionals. We'll help your business create a podcast from planning and launching to editing, presentation skills, promotion, and even monetization if that's where you want it to go. Interested in speaking with one of our professionals? We've put together a questionnaire to quickly fill out. This will help us help you prior to our first information meeting, which you can schedule when you complete the questionnaire. The link is in the podcast show notes.